Aborubo ye baba. Blessings, blessings, blessings to all of the good people. I pray all is well with you, all is well with your families, all is well with your business and in your local communities. This is quite a moment we're having right now. Everything is in flux and in the most intense and unimaginable ways. We got fires raging on the West Coast. We got a hurricane sweeping up through the Gulf Coast. We've got a pandemic nationwide. We got institutionalized white supremacism on display through armed militia shooting unarmed protesters who are protesting the police shooting unarmed citizens. It's just an unbelievable moment. It's an unbelievable moment. And there's one thing that I can tell you from my life experience is that when there's this kind of a convergence and so many intense things are happening simultaneously, this is when the divinities time to get my attention and prepare me for something truly transformative. And I know this to be the case because I've experienced it many, many times. In the midst of all of this tumult and all this uncertainty, it's essential that we focus on some of the things that are concrete, all of the things that are concrete. It's like being, dragged down a rushing river and there's a stone in the middle of the river. It doesn't take any explanation for you to hold on to that stone and get your mind together and start thinking about, hey, what are you going to do next? Right? And that's a metaphor for where we are right now. There's so much going on. Everything is rushing and flowing like a river. You can't hold on to anything that's shifting around you. So you got to hold on to what you can hold on to, and that's obvious. So you got to look around you right now. You got to look at who are the people who are loving you right now? Who are energizing you right now? What are the situations and the conditions in your life that are empowering you and uplifting you and giving you direction and guidance? That's what you need to hold on to. That's your rock. Okay? That's your security. That's your stability. Okay? You've got to look to those things. You got to count those things as supreme blessings. That's part of your task at this moment. I think about, in a very specific and pointed way, what's happening as a black man, and I'm recalling a particular verse of Ifa wherein the men were in a prolonged and protracted war. And in the wake of the war, a lot of men died. And it just kept happening. It kept going on. It was just persistent. And in response, the women got together and they retreated. Right? Not for safety, but out of exasperation. They were just totally flustered. They said, the men are okay, they're killing our brothers, they're killing our husbands, they're killing our lovers, they're killing our fathers, they're killing our sons. We just can't take it. We can't deal with this anymore. And so the women went and they created their own society away from the men, right? Now the story goes on to tell us some more lessons. There's a deeper lesson to that, but the thing that just stands out to me about that particular verse, that part of the verse, is our mothers don't want us to fight. Our wives don't want us to fight. Our sisters don't want us to fight. Our daughters don't want us to fight because they know that we get killed, we get maimed in the process. And because we love them, right? We try not to. But really speaking, realistically speaking, men are going to fight. Men are going to fight. Men are going to fight, okay? And they're going to fight for resources. They're going to fight for territory. They're going to fight for control over resources and territory. And there's nothing that we can do to completely eliminate that from the equation. And so black men have to close ranks. We have to close ranks, and we have to accept the fact that if we are not prepared, and if everyone in the whole world doesn't know that we are prepared to fight, then they'll continue to pick men off, black men off, one by one. And that's not acceptable. That is worse for our wives and our daughters and our mothers and our sisters. That's worse, right? When every black man is not only recognized as a threat, but a part of a body of threats, when everyone knows that every single black man is in an army, he's a part of an army, then everything will be different. People will respond differently. They're going to think twice, 3, 4 times before they decide they want to harass that individual. When every single black man is tied to a bank, when every black man is somehow connected to and has access to large amounts of money to be able to finance their visions and their dreams, whatever they may be, military, social, economic, or otherwise, people are gonna have to reconcile that, right? It won't put an end to the fighting. It won't put an end to the threat. But what it does is dynamic. Okay, people just won't be so reckless about doing whatever they want to you, to me, to your brother, to your sister, to your son. We have to accept the reality of what it means to just be a man, and the price that we pay for being the threat that we are naturally. I play a little bit of chess, and so for me it's a wonderful analogy, which is why the game exists, right? Because you got the black king, you got the white king. But in this game of chess, not only has the white king and the black king, been engaged in a prolonged battle, but the white king has weaponized all the pieces on the field. He's even weaponized some of the black pawns, the black bishop, the black knight, right? They are all incentivized to do different things to immobilize or neutralize the force and the power of the black king. And so that's why and is most explicitly pointed to other black men. We have to close ranks. We have to stand shoulder to shoulder and back to back. We have to recognize that everyone is incentivized to neutralize your power, right? And you have to, accept it and understand it for the different kinds of motivation that people have for trying to neutralize your power. There's a song, my favorite movie of all time is of Quilombo. If you guys haven't seen Quilombo, it's a Brazilian movie about a maroon colony in Brazil. But there's a song in the movie. It's like a recurring song. It's like the theme song. That's the happiness of a black man. A felicidade do negro é uma felicidade guerreira. The happiness of a black man is the warrior's happiness. Zumbi comandante guerreiro. And it praises Zumbi, who was a leader, who, and they praise him as a war chief, and begs him to send the spirit of freedom into my heart, because the happiness of a black man is the happiness of a warrior. We cannot continue to squelch that warrior spirit, but we have to organize that warrior spirit by joining forces with one another to make sure that we always have the kind of support, the kind of backup, the kind of protection that we need to exercise our God-given right, what we have inherited from our ancestors, the right to live, to exist, to take care of ourselves, to protect ourselves, and to lead ourselves and our community to the next level of greatness, to the next level of fulfillment, to the next level of happiness. They say that it would be better to die on your feet than to live on your knees. Even if living on your knees means you're living in a comfortable house, or you're living, with a comfortable little bit of money, little salary, right? And this is about attitude, It's about a mindset. This is about a perspective and approach to life. It's not about reckless abandon. It's not about endangering yourself and other people on some, crazy renegade mission. I'm talking about real organization. I'm talking about power, real physical power, real economic power, real spiritual power. Power always operates within a system, and the system is always functions through a multiplicity of things, right? No, an individual, in other words, cannot be powerful. You always know that analogy of the hand, right? The fingers are individual. This open hand has a certain amount of power and force, but when you ball the fist, it solidifies that force. We have to start dedicating ourselves to combining and compiling our force into one thing. It's crucial. It's crucial. To me, that's the single most important message of this moment. That is the single most important message. Because in the face of all these calamities, when you look at it, if it's the fires on the West Coast, or the hurricane in the Gulf Coast, or the armed militia shooting protesters, or the police shooting unarmed citizens, if you think of all those calamities, what is our response to any one of those? Do we have a response? Remember Katrina? What was our response to Katrina? Did we have a concerted, organized response, or did we leave it to somebody else to address that problem? When we look at these fires on the West Coast, do we have a response, or are we leaving that up to somebody else? We look at the protests that are going on, and these people, the militia, right? The militia comes out as an organized body, right? Armed, traveling across state lines with assault rifles. That is a strong message. Do we have a response to that? Do we have a response to that, or are we going to leave it up to somebody else, like the police, right? Who are clearly making their position known and stated and visible and obvious. Do we have a response to any one of those calamities? And then if you put all of them together and you look at the collective impact of all of those situations that we face today, do we have a organized and cohesive response to all of that on a state level, on a regional level, on a national level? This is our call to action. This is our call to action. Every single one of us needs to join a body of responsible, progressive black people. Every single one of us. By the end of this year, there should be no individuals. There should be no individuals. None, none, none. This should be the end of individualism. If you guys are familiar with Frantz Fanon in The Wretched of the Earth, he goes into great detail about the death of individualism and the cowardice of the petit bourgeois who bask in their individual accomplishments and their individual personal interests, while the masses languish under the systems of oppression. Okay, Fanon was writing in the 50s and 60s, and here we are 50 years later, living the exact same situation. There need to be no more individuals. Every single person needs to be a part of a body by the end of this year. Everybody. Every single one of you needs to be a card-carrying member of some organized, responsible, progressive black organization. Join some organization today. Start searching today. Identify one today and become an active member of an organization, and urge all of your friends and family to do the same. Right? Hey, you dating somebody? Look, back in the day, it would be like, if you don't go to church, I don't know, we can get down. Well, we need to bring that back. We need to bring that back. Maybe it's a church. Maybe it's a political organization. Maybe it's a Yoruba temple. Maybe, it's the School of Orisha Studies or the Orisha Lifestyle Academy. I don't know. But you need to be a part of a black organization this year. If you finish out this year as an individual, then you're basically saying that I'm going to leave it up to the white sky daddy to take. That the white sky daddy is trustworthy enough to address all the problems that he himself is even creating. Okay? That's what you're saying by default. No excuses. No, I know sometimes our people like to be just hypercritical and run themselves in circle and find all kinds of reasons why you just can't be a part of this and you can't be a part of that. Man, forget that. Forget that. You're getting squashed like ants all day, every day, because there are no responses. There are no repercussions. People can do whatever they want without any fear of response. So we need to put an end to that. Every single one. And let me help you understand. You're perceived as a threat no matter what. Okay? You're perceived as a threat anyway. You're a black man with no weapon, with your hands up, on your knees, laying on the ground, whatever, in total compliance. And somehow they perceive you as a threat anyway. You are perceived as a threat because you are a threat. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to be or not, whether you are docile or not, you're a threat. You need to accept that, and you need to protect yourself, and you need to protect your loved ones. This is the year 2020 marks the death of the black individual. 2020 marks the death of the black individual. Every single one of us must become a part of a collective. This is what Ifa teaches us in the Holy Odu, Osa Ogunda, Osa Ogunleja. All good things manifest in multitudes. The fish, the hairs on the chin, the birds who come in flocks, the grass in the field that clusters together. All of these things represent symbols of greatness that Olodumare intended for all of creation. It's all things, all great things manifest in clusters. So this year, let us declare the death of the individual. Okay, a single tree does not make a forest. No matter how sharp a knife is, it cannot carve its own handle. No matter how bright a lamp is, it cannot illuminate beneath its own base. Ifa speaks of multitudes, things gather in multitudes. Okay? So your assignment today, identify an organization, a group, a body. Start researching. On your mind, you've been thinking about joining. It's been sort of, latent in your on your agenda and things to do. Okay, push the button today. You have the money, right? I'm talking about spending money. I'm talking about investing money. Organizations need money to thrive. Okay? Organizations need money for financing an organization. If it's an organization you agree with 80%, when you start putting your money in, then that's where you also combine your money and your contribution to take that organization from being that one that you support 80% to one that you can support 100%. That 20% that's missing, that discrepancy where you feel like this isn't quite what you would like it to be for that organization, that represents your job in the organization. That represents the part that you're supposed to add. Get off your butt. Stop being so lazy. Stop being such a consumer. Stop thinking that these leaders and these organizers and these people who are out there doing it all day, every day, are supposed to do everything. They're supposed to chew your food for you and swallow it and then poop it out for you. Get with the program. Join an organization. Join an organization. Make that organization great. I like Claude Anderson so much, and I listened to a lecture. He said it a couple of times, but this was one he did in LA probably about 15 years ago. And he talks about how he traveled the country trying to find organizations that were dedicated to the well-being and the upliftment of black folks. And he couldn't find one. He couldn't find one. He found multicultural, he found forms for colored people, he found all kinds of stuff. But it was so difficult for him to find an organization that was explicitly dedicated to the upliftment of black people. They're out there. They're just small. Okay? You need to find one. You already know about one. Get off the fence and join that organization today. Put your money into that organization and help them thrive. Help them grow. Help them to be everything that you need them to be for them to have your total support. For you to look and wave the flag high and say, yes, I'm a part of that organization. They rock. They do everything that I love. And I know because I helped them do it. I helped them grow to the next level. I helped them connect the dots with my effort, my money, my vision, my talents. 2020 marks the end of the individual. There will be no more individuals. Everybody who remains an individual at the end of this year is because you just want to get squashed like an ant. That's what it means. Okay? That's what it means. So if that's what you intend to say, great. That's how you will be treated. Yeah, this is a person who wants to just go, renegade by himself or by herself. We can't account for that. If you want protection, then you got to get protection. You got to come stand under the umbrella. If you want protection, you need to come in the house. If you want protection, you need to climb into the tank. Right? But listen, if you're going to stand under the umbrella, you got a responsibility. You got obligations. You can't stand under the umbrella and just be farting. The umbrella with me and you just farting. Nah. You can't come in the house and you aren't going to adhere to the rules. You're going to do what you want to do. You're going to come and go as you please. You're going to bring people in and out, whoever you. No. You would come in the house. There's house rules. Obey the rules. Because these rules are here to protect you. These rules are intended to make sure that you have all of the resources that you need to survive and do well and be nourished and comfortable inside of this house. So get in the house. If you want protection, come in the house. Join the body. Do your chores, right? You're in the house, you got a chore. Dishes, floor, washing windows, cutting grass, taking out the trash. Come in the house, follow the rules, do your chores. 2020 marks the death of the black individual. There will be no more individuals. at the end of 2020. Everybody is being charged with joining an organization. Okay? And so that's my insight for today. And I hope it's well received. I hope you understand what I'm saying to you. And I hope you have the good cat sense to look around and observe the reality of what I'm telling you. I'm not making, this is not hyperbole. This is not sensationalism. The world is shifting. The world is shifting. To pay attention to the things that are stable, the things that are constant, the things that are fixed, the things that have always been in place and you just didn't have proper value of them until this moment. This is the time for you to get really clear about what things are worth. All right? 2020 marks the death of the black individual. Join an organization. Last word. If you're in an organization, start facilitating alliances with other black organizations. You're already a part of a temple. Make sure that at the end of this year, your temple is joined forces with another temple that will help enhance your position, your stature, and the power of your organization. Okay? If you're already a part of a temple, a school, a business, a nonprofit, this year is the year that you start working with the key people in your organization to join forces, to build strategic alliances with other organizations. 2020 marks the end of the individual organization as well. No more organizations operating in isolation. No more organizations operating in isolation. No more organizations operating in isolation. If you're a part of an organization today, a church, a mosque, and you hear what I'm saying, your job is to start working today on ways that your organization can form a strategic alliance with another like-minded organization. All right? So please listen to this message. Think of the people in your circumference who you know need to hear this message. There's somebody who you know is talking this exact same way. You're going to say, wow, I can't believe it. I just heard Sister So-and-so say this exact same thing. I was just talking to Brother ABC, and he was saying this exact same thing. Share this message with those people. Now, today, don't hesitate. Share it. Share it. Make sure that all the right people who you know are open and receptive to this and can act on it, make sure they get the message today. 2020 marks the death of the black individual. 2020 marks the death of the individual black organization. No more organizations and individuals operating in isolation. Abor aboye, aboshishe.